The Branding Your Business podcast is for small business owners looking to build a customer favorite brand and a value-driven business. From solo shows covering marketing tactics to experts sharing their brand stories, each episode delivers actionable insights for entrepreneurs who want to impact the world. We're sharing how strategic moves and authentic connections can build a profitable business minus the burnout. Tune into the Branding Your Business podcast with me, Praise Santos McKenna of Come Plum, to design a brand your audience adores while building a life you love. Hi there, welcome back to the Branding Your Business podcast. My name is Praise Santos McKenna. I'm your host and the founder of the branding studio Come Plum here in San Francisco, California. The world of the internet is pretty amazing, and you all have heard me rave about an accounting software I use called Collective. And within the Collective community, because they serve a lot of small business entrepreneurs, I met my friend Savannah and I just saw her work. I knew what she was about. I was like, oh my goodness, this is the gap of what my clients need. I have so many questions for her. So as we say, I slipped into the DMs, sent her a fangirl message, just hey, can we connect? Can we be friends? And so then as we chatted, we came together. I learned more about her and the work that she did. She also agreed to come on the podcast. So we are so lucky today to have Savannah. So let me tell you a little bit more about her. She is a Nashville-based digital marketing guru with a passion for helping women launch and grow their dream business. You see why we connect? She is a self-taught business owner herself with a strong entrepreneurial spirit. She launched her business, Creative and Caffeinated Co., back in 2020 after partnering with a few small businesses to revamp their social media presence. With a growing team and client base, her focus remains the same: to serve other female entrepreneurs and creatives. Here's the thing about Savannah. When she's not working with an iced coffee in hand, hello, caffeinated, you can bet she's planning her next trip abroad or booking tickets for a concert at the Ryman. So we have a woman who knows entertainment and knows the people she loves to serve. What was the last concert you went to? What was the last live show you've engaged in?
Oh, that is such a great question. I'm so forward focused. We're going to see Leon Bridges next week at the Ryman. And now I'm blanking on the last concert that I saw. Oh, it was actually at the Ryman and it was Wild Rivers.
Wow. Well, I would also be looking forward to Leon as well if you were going to. What a wonder. I feel like he is a soul that we are so honored to be living in at the same time. That he is. I can't believe you get to see him live.
Yes, I am so excited. And I feel like he doesn't tour all that often, or maybe he just hasn't come to Nashville in the last couple of years. So I jumped on those tickets as soon as I saw them come out.
I don't know if it's the same with your friends or your partner. I just don't even ask permission. I just buy the tickets and figure out the details later. I'm like, it's going to sell out. This is great. We're going to go. I see you nodding your head. Are you the same way?
Yes, we are the same way. And we keep calling this, my husband and I, our concert year. We have seen I don't know, 1 or 2 concerts a month. And it's because I set a goal in 2025 that if we're moving back to Nashville, that we live in Music City. And I'm like, I'm going to take advantage of the concerts that come here. And I would go and seek out 1 concert a month at the beginning of the year. And then we were just always on the lookout for them. And so we have seen Zach Bryan, Morgan Wallen, Tyler Childers. Obviously, there's a lot of country music here. We've seen one of our favorite artists, Drake White, 4 times this year. So yeah, we are big concert people. And yeah, there's no need to ask for permission. It's you're coming or I'll find a girlfriend to go with if you're busy that
I got
day.
tickets. Baseline, yes. I got tickets. I'm going. You can decide whether to come or not.
Yes. There's a Mariah Carey Christmas show coming to the Bridgestone, which is our big arena. And I don't know if I can get him on board for that. But my best friend and I were texting. We're we got it again. How often is Mariah Carey coming to your town to do a Christmas specific show? So you can catch me there in December.
She is a living legend. Also, somehow, can you please slip into her DMs and pitch to do her social media? How cool would that be too?
All of the artists, honestly.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about Creative and Caffeinated Co? You probably have a lot of your dream clients. Can you explain a little bit what you do and how you serve them?
Yeah, absolutely. I get this question a lot of like, which field or industry do we serve? And I like to say we don't serve a specific industry. We haven't really niched down in an industry, but we have niched down in our ideal clients, like who we like to partner with and the type of business owner. So we mainly female founders and female entrepreneurs, female business owners that provide a service. So we have a couple product-based clients, but I would say 90% of our clients are all service-based businesses, and again, women-owned businesses.
How did that happen to be like the first kind of client you just started serving, or did you serve a lot of people and then you're like, wait, this is my sweet spot? How the evolution of people finding their ideal client is always interesting.
And it is one of those trial and error, natural progressions, I think, of business. My very first client fit that mold, but I didn't hone in on that right away. The first client we ever served was a personal stylist. The second one was a personal trainer. So again, fitting into the female service provider. And then from there, we did have a couple product based businesses and we did work with a couple male business owners. And I have found that I just connect more. I think that what sets us apart from other social media managers or social media agencies is that personal relationship that we build with them. And again, me being a woman and passionate about growing businesses and encouraging my clients to take that leap of faith and help guiding them in growing their business, I felt like I just connected and felt for like I can relate to the female business owners more. So I think that really honed in on the male versus female side of things. And then the service provider, I think it was more because we do a lot of almost like coaching with our clients on how to show up online from like a personal brand perspective, right? People buy from people, and products. That's a totally different strategy, right? You're talking about the product, you're selling the product. You might use UGC or influencer marketing. You might be on TikTok Shop. It's totally different from a personal trainer, right? Who needs to build credibility and connect with her potential new trainee, right? So I think just from a strategy perspective, I really like to support the service provider and coach them through how they can show up online.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting differentiator in your business too. Like you've learned that, okay, the service we provide is like social media management. And actually, the subservice that they're also getting is coaching and marketing strategy too. And specifically because you are a service provider, you also need to show more of your personality. You need to show what sets you apart. And even though you could do that with a product like deodorant or like a face wash, it's very different in that it seems like you have to have a lot of interpersonal conversations, a lot of very personal encouragement and coaching for people to show up online, because I can relate to you so much as a brand photographer. We have to do almost untrained, low key, non professional, but still effective therapy to help our clients show up
Mhm.
confidently too.
Yes.
What do you think are the barriers that people often face when they're like, okay, Savannah told me I have to be more personal online? What are those blockers?
Yes. And I think a lot of it, like you said, stems from just confidence and not doing it enough, right? Like people say practice makes perfect for showing up online. And I like to say it's just like practice builds confidence. So, like, the more often you show your face, that you get on stories, the more confident you're going to be about it. But also, you're going to have to train your mind. Like, whenever I go out to eat, my friends know that like, Savannah's got the picture and she's going to tag us all. Like, my mind is always content focused. Like, how can I create this into content? And I think that it's important for clients to like get in that mindset. Like, you need to take your audience along for your day to day. You need to bring them behind the scenes, give them a peek behind the curtain. So, for example, the personal stylist client, right? She's so focused on like serving her client and serving her well. She's not really thinking about when she's in her client's closet sorting through blazers to prop up her tripod. And so I think there's a little bit of that just accountability when you hire someone, and we can help coach them into making that mindset shift, and helping them again on the coaching side, just like kind of build that confidence and letting them know like there's editing tools. Like you told me before this, you can cut, right? If there's too many or you need to start over, it's not live, right? Like that's the beautiful thing about social media, unless you're doing an Instagram live, right? There's ways that we can make sure that you feel like you sound collected and confident. I think that there is a lot of barriers for people showing up and showing their face or like getting on stories and talking to a camera. And it always feels uncomfortable. Like it's always going to feel uncomfortable at first. But again, the more you do it, the more confident you're going to become in that.
And that is so good. Practice doesn't make perfect. It builds confidence. It's these habits gets us into a new mindset, a new way of making it just less scary. And I love that you are highlighting. And by the way, there are tools, and I will be completely transparent. I tell Savannah, I tell all our guests before we start recording for the podcast, like, yeah, we're recording. It'll be really flowy conversational. But if we need to back anything up, this is all digital. We can edit it. Like, what a great world that we live in, that we have these tools available. And I do hope for those people who already know, like, okay, I do have to show up. Or for some people, this might be new news. People want to see your face on social media. You will have to show your face. And remember, you can edit it. Like, you can also hit record again. It's okay to do things a couple
Mhm.
times as you get more comfortable. What are
Yes.
other social media tips that you often give people besides, hey, one, remember to take the picture, build that habit? Are there other ways that you're constantly telling your clients, hey, we are your social media manager, but we still need you to do XYZ?
And that is the thing about social media is like you can hire an outsource. I like to say that we save people a lot of time, right? Because writing caption copywriting can take a lot of time. The editing side of it, which we were just talking about, can take a lot of time and just like knowledge and understanding of like the tools in order to do that. But there has to be an aspect of you also showing up for your audience where they can feel like you and truly connect with you. So a lot of times like we'll stay out of people's DMs, especially because that's almost like an inbox these days, right? Like it's almost like a lead, and that's where we cross the line between community engagement and your lead source. We're not your salespeople, we're your marketing gurus, we're your social media gals. So yeah, I think it's really important for people to continue to be active within their DMs and personally respond, but then also what I call active engagement. So passive engagement, I kind of made these terms up. I think there is some other ways to phrase it, but passive engagement to me is when you're waiting for comments and DMs, right? You might post and then you're waiting for people to interact with you. I like active engagement as a way to, you're going out and bringing those people back to you, right? Like you are being an active participant on the social media platform. And again, that's what social media was built for you to be social and connect. And so I think a lot of people just like miss the mark and not sliding into people's DMs like you did with me, right? There's such an open door to spark conversations, and not just with always like selling and your ideal client or customer, but also other people in your network and in your industry to build referrals and just to have honest conversation and to honestly like make friends and make real communities. As much as you can, yes, outsource some of those things that just like kind of weigh you down on the day to day of showing up. For sure, definitely outsource those, but make sure that you're also showing up for your audience and building genuine community on there.
This is so good. Just for those folks who are like, okay, I'm launching a business or I want to get more eyes. I have this content plan. I'm going to do it. And then they're like creating and putting a lot out there. And then they're like, but why is no one saying anything to me? And you are reminding people that, hey, it's a back and forth, it's a dance. Are you doing what you want other people to do for you? Are you also commenting? Are you also slipping into the DMs? You want them to slip into your DMs, but are you actually personally noticing the efforts they're putting out there too? Are you saying anything? Are you encouraging them to? And it's that activeness, even though you can have a social media manager, if it's coming from your own voice, that's how you're going to know your audience. That's how you're going to know the people you serve. And this is just such a good reminder that please, we encourage people to outsource so many things that are not in your wheelhouse. And we remember to do that so it can free up your energy to do the things that only you can do. And those are building those personal relationships, especially for those listening. If you are a service provider and people are hiring you and spending time with you, you're going to also want to engage that way too. That is such a good reminder.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that people, while the algorithm is a mystery, I think the algorithm knows if you are posting and ghosting, right? Like it's smart enough to know if you're not an active participant. And so it's just something to be wary of, that like, you do need to show up. And I think as creators and entrepreneurs and like self-motivated people, we want to create, not consume, which is great. Like we want to create probably more than we consume for our mental health and for our business and all the reasons. But again, if you're intentional about the time and not just like swiping, but actually looking for those people and like genuinely interacting with a piece of content that spoke to you, and leaving thoughtful comments and interactions. There's no quick, easy wins. You actually have to sit down and do that, right? But I think that can play a really big part in growing your online community and your audience in an authentic way.
100%, which this is such a good reminder of just how to use social media. And you said yourself that you are a self-taught business owner. I've read an article where you got interviewed. Someone asked you the skills you need to know, and you're like, Google, Google, Google. This is how you learn. Do you ever feel like you wear so many hats as a small business owner? I totally get that. Here at Come Plum, we want to keep you in your zone of genius, how you serve and show up for people. So leave the branding to us. In a collaborative way through brand coaching, we help you define your brand foundations, your brand strategy, and your brand expression, all that fun stuff like logo, websites, videos, photos, and more. If you go to comeplum.com and mention in the contact form that you heard about us through our Branding Your Business podcast, you get cool perks like an extra hour of coaching or maybe even 10% off your coaching package. We can't wait to collaborate with you to build a brand that you and your clients love. Can we back up a bit? Can you tell us a little bit about that entrepreneurial spirit that you've had? How did you end up to where you are today and coaching people with their social media through Creative and Caffeinated? Like, back us up. Tell us how this evolved.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's funny that you came across that response. I still so believe that there should be no excuse in this day and age, especially with AI now and just how technology and tools will work in your favor. Like, there is no excuse for not being able to figure something out. Like, one of my favorite quotes is Marie Forleo, right? Like, everything is figure outable. So yeah, I think that honestly has been my journey, is figuring it out as I go. And I have a degree in event management and now do not do anything with event management. I did have great corporate experience before I pivoted into owning my own business and pivoting into the marketing industry. But I found myself here because I lost 2 jobs before the age of 25. The first one was a corporate event planning job, and they let go of 300 girls across the country. And it was no fault, right, of my own. It was just like budget cut type situation. And then the next one was the pandemic. I worked for a healthcare association and planning healthcare conferences across the country. And the last group of people meeting for conferences in person were healthcare workers. I just really felt like that gave me a new perspective on corporate, and you can work really hard, and companies, yes, they can be loyal, but there's really no security, right? And you create your own security and destiny. And I've always wanted to have that control over what my income is. And I wanted, the harder I work, the more that to pay off. And I have truly found that in owning my own business, that like, if you hustle and work hard, the fruit will come, right? You will absolutely see the reward of that. It taught me those 2 experiences. It taught me to it really grew my faith and just taught me how to take big risks. And that is when I did pivot. I had another full-time job, and I was like, I'm comfortable being uncomfortable because I've lost my job twice. And that's what those 2 experiences taught me, was like how to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's when I finally left a corporate job on my own willingly to go start my own business. So yeah, I think that there's the risk part, right? Getting comfortable taking big risks really played a big part in me finally making that transition to start working for myself.
Thank you for sharing that. Here on the podcast, I know that a lot of people find our podcast because it sounds so practical, like branding your business. Okay, they're going to talk about branding and business. And we talk a lot about these hard skills. Like, we are teaching people how to engage online, how to hire a social media manager. These are so good. And I want people to know these softer skills that AI can maybe describe to you, but you actually have to learn from experience. And I want to celebrate you, Savannah, for getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, because we as humans want a sense of security and safety. Yes, I wish that for everyone in the world. And the world is actually a very dynamic place, and things are always changing too. And I want to encourage people, even though entrepreneurship is a risky thing in and of itself. What you are highlighting of creative freedom, time freedom, just that autonomy that's there, the financial freedom, it's hard to have that in the corporate world. And you had to be a little uncomfortable. You had to experience getting laid off twice before the age of 25 to be like, okay, this is building my muscle of being uncomfortable. This is building my muscle to really push me to do this riskier thing that actually might be less uncomfortable than the place I'm in right now. And I re-emphasize this because I know so many people who are listening are at often a crossroads. You are either at a corporate job and you've been thinking about starting your own thing for a while, and or some of you have been recently let off, and or you're already entrepreneur, and sometimes we want to burn everything down and go back to a safe, more corporate setting. And I want to bring a variety of stories to remind you that I'm not saying like entrepreneurship is the only way, but I do want to encourage you that everything has a purpose. Like these things had purpose in your life, Savannah. It helped you build your faith, as you said. It helped you become more comfortable with like, okay, these are the things that are out of my control. And these are the things that I actually can do something about. And so that's why we love having people like you, Savannah, on the podcast to have real stories of real people kind of doing gritty, scary things so that people can learn the hard skills. Like we're talking about social media today. And also these more soft skills that actually really matter when you're trying to lead a business and to continue to encourage yourself to keep going with a business, even when it gets hard. Would you say any other pieces of wisdom for people who are in these kind of crossroads? What are things that you wish you heard when you were in this vulnerable kind of deciding phase that you were in before?
For sure. And when you were talking, I feel like I left out a really big piece to kind of that journey and that pivotal experience that I had that kind of led me to have a successful business. I had a business fail, like flat out fail before this one, but it led me to this business. It led me to my first couple freelance clients. And so the piece of advice I would give, and I just went to a full conference talking about the subject, is like not being afraid to fail, or like almost embracing that failure, and like switching your mindset around failure. But yeah, I had a product-based business that was a side hustle, right? Like a creative outlet. And so I definitely understand those people who are always, right, like tinkering on the side of, do I quit my job? Do I go all in on this one business idea? And that is a very difficult place to be in, just because, yeah, there is a lot. It feels like there's a lot on the line. But I think if you face that knowing like I'm going to fail, not necessarily the business is going to fail, but I'm like, there's things that are going to fail and crack along the way. And I'm going to embrace that, knowing that it's only going to make me a stronger business owner. It's only going to make me have more perspective and understanding and build my knowledge. And that's taken me like a long time to grasp. I'm a 3 on the Enneagram. I don't know if you're familiar with Enneagram, but fear of failure really rocks me to my core. And so having that experience and being able to like openly talk about it and be vulnerable in that, and use it for good, right? Then you really can like wrap your mind around it and face another day and do the harder and more scarier thing, right? So yeah, I think that being in a corporate job and having that experience is amazing. And I think that's where I started, right? My journey. And like having the side hustle is good too. And like when you're ready to make the jump, if you're ever ready to make the jump, when you make the jump, right? There's things that you're going to learn in that season. I think that every season that you're in has something to teach you. So yeah, I would say just keep an open mind and don't be afraid to fail, and knowing that you will fail in some capacity, but it's only going to be for your betterment in the future.
Yeah, this is not new news to people, in that
No.
there's a lot that's out of control and that failure happens and is normal. And yet, I do think in our Western culture, I am also an Enneagram 3, which when you read more about the Enneagram, for those who aren't familiar with it, Enneagram 3s are often like accomplishers, like go-getters, doers. And it's also a bit of a product. It's part of our personality, but a product of our environment, where we're like, okay, in the United States of America, we work hard. This is the land of opportunity. So we're gonna go. And then we're like, okay, this land of opportunity, but we also have to talk about it's a land of trying and failing and then getting up and trying again, right? This is what we need to build to. Because even I just resonate with you so much in that I've been doing this for over 10 years and I still have to like reframe my mindset of like, okay, that launch didn't go as I planned. And I still have the tendency to want to just curl up in bed in a fetal position and be like, I'm
Yes.
over it. I'm done. And then
Yes.
it takes me a while just to be like, okay, like let me give space for that emotion. And okay, we can just learn from it. Like we've been down this road of failure before. We can try something again. We can
Mhm.
figure out, okay, maybe that was not the path. Maybe I wasn't ready for that. Maybe the market wasn't ready for that. And for you, you're like, okay, maybe this product based side hustle was not my jam. And you had the energy to try something new and try something
Yes.
again, which I think is a good reminder for all of us. And speaking of things that are new, as we are looking into a new year into 2025. I love getting specialists on the podcast because I feel like I can be like up to date with different social media networks, but I feel like folks who are in your world, you and your team are just like, okay, we know the newest updates. This is working really well. Or, oh my goodness, we tried this with one client. Now we're sharing it with all our clients. Can you give us some insider tips of trends or new things that we should be thinking about when it comes to social media as we are entering this new year?
There's so many different like ways you could go about that, right? Or paths that I could go down as far as social media in general or like content trends. Content trends, I would say what I have noticed personally and through all of our clients is the content of humor. We've seen the entertainment, we've seen the informative content, but right now, especially in this environment, I think people just are really consumed with humor. So if you can bring humor into your content in some way, shape, or form, I've seen a lot of success in that with our clients. And then video, right? We just know video is not going anywhere. They're saying even shorter videos, like 30 seconds, right? We've talked about long form video was coming back for a while, and like YouTube is definitely not going anywhere in the longer form content. I feel like it's almost like polarizing. It's either like the long form or the short form. Like there's really kind of like not much in between. So kind of pick which one that you want to go down and like really commit to that in 2025. So I think that is something to be aware of. And then just AI, right? This is not going anywhere. I think the more everyone knows ChatGPT, but the more that you can utilize AI to create content, to streamline creating your content, and figuring out those AI tools to work for you and your business around social media and around marketing is really going to be a benefit. Like we were talking about podcasting, this platform Riverside uses AI to create the show notes for you. So like little things like that are going to save you time. Again, one of the largest reasons that people outsource social media and content creation is because of that time. So if you can figure out how to use those AI tools for yourself to eliminate some of those things that take time and then outsource the things that genuinely do take more time and there's no tools for quick fixes, then I would be on the lookout for those. And then I think I have also heard something to be aware of is just like new social media platforms making their way and breaking into the social media realm. So like TikTok competitors, Instagram competitors. So it's always good to just be aware of those and be on top of them to evaluate if they're going to be a good fit for your business.
Those are so good. Yeah, it's one of those things like video is here to stay. AI can help you save time so you can focus on being funnier. This is
Yeah.
what I'm taking away from that. And maybe it's being
Yes.
funny across new mediums that's going to come up too, which you, even on your Instagram, have done a good job of just like integrating. I love during Halloween when people are doing like, it's a haunted house, but it's just so funny how people have adapted that to every industry. And I think we're just going to see more of that too. And so I'm going to make a little note to myself because I feel like there's such a silly side of me and sometimes it comes out, but you're giving me permission. Like, let the weird out a little more, let the funky out a
Yes.
little more to folks as it applies to like your pillars, as it applies to your audience. Yes. But
Yes, of
I
course.
think people are just looking just for a little more lightness in a heavy world. And so I am very happy that that is a trending thing. Well, as we wrap up our show, we are premiering a fun new game. I always like try to mix it up, keep things light, keep things fun. And then this game is going to be called Who Dis. And so because you, I feel like have a good pulse on what's like trending, what's out there. I also love like associations and word associations. And I know that For us, if folks listen to the podcast, we talk a lot about branding is your reputation. It's what people think, feel, and say about you. So it might be fun for us to, I'm going to name some values or characteristics and just like, so no, Savannah doesn't know. She knows a little bit about the game, but she doesn't know what I'm about to prompt her. So I'm going to just name some characteristics, first person, brand, celebrity that comes to mind. You're going to tell me who you associate with that word or
Okay.
value, characteristic.
I love it.
You ready?
Okay. Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Okay. First, demure.
Man, now what this is, it's really like you got me on the spot here. Demure.
Demure, which was such a trending word in
Yes.
Q3 of 2024 for those who are listening
I'm
to.
literally like thinking of like my personal friends and like girls on my team, but I'm like, that's not gonna relate to anyone
No,
else.
call him out, and then we could just give him a shout out. Who's demure
Yeah,
on
I was gonna
the?
say a girl on my team, her name is Ellie. She is just like so graceful with like all of our clients and how she approaches things. So yeah, I would say Ellie is very demure.
Ellie is demure. Shout out to Ellie. Okay, fierce,
I want to say Beyonce.
100. Assertive,
Assertive. I want to say Donald Trump. It's election day.
it is election day. Hospitable,
Hospitable. Nashville.
innovative,
Women.
quirky.
I say my little sister Brie.
Bree, shout out to Bree. Okay, last
Yeah.
one, superstar.
Superstar. Ooh. Oh my gosh, man, these are really hard. Let's say Leon Bridges.
Leon Bridges, who she's gonna see this weekend, people. I
Yes.
agree. He is a living legend. Savannah, thank you so much for lending us your presence on the Branding Your Business podcast. I know folks will be inspired by your personal story and have really great applications for social media and engaging with folks better on this really fun platform and medium that we get to create and engage on. How can folks find you? I know they're going to want to slip into your DMs. They're going to want to hire you and connect with you. How can they find you?
Yeah, I just changed my Instagram handle because I got married on October 1st. So it is now Savannah Dickey _. That is my personal. And then Creative and Caffeinated Co. on Instagram is the digital marketing agency.
Okay, well, we'll add a lot of things to the show notes too, so you can connect with her as well. Thank you so much, Savannah. And then cheers.
Thank you so much.